Handi Quilter offers accessories that go awesome with the Sweet 16. One of them is the Handi Quilter couching feet, and these are hopping feet that you can replace on your machine that allow you to couch different fibers onto your quilt. So when I say fibers, what I mean is like yarns. So there's a few different types of yarns that you can use. In fact, there's a lot of different types of yarns. I have a few here, and the feet come in 3 different sizes. So you can do a 1.5 millimeter hole, a 2 millimeter hole, or a 3 millimeter hole. And you would choose which one to do depending on how thick your fiber is or your yarn. So you can see that this fiber here is on the smaller side, especially compared to a yarn like this. And there's so many different types of fibers that you can try that there really is no right or wrong hole for each type of fiber. It's just a matter of doing experimentation with what you like, and I think you'll quickly find what you like and what you don't like, and that's great. So let's go ahead, and because I have pink thread, let's choose this pink metallic, and let's be honest, it's the cutest one here. So let's go ahead and use this yarn. And another thing is, whenever you're choosing your fiber or your yarn, it's always convenient and good to put the same color of thread that will match your yarn. That way, as you're quilting, if for some reason your thread peeks through, it just kind of blends in nicely. To put your couching foot on your machine, the first thing you'll need to do is take off your regular ruler foot. So use a 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench and unscrew the screw that holds your current foot on. Now you don't need to take it all the way out, just take it out enough that it's not catching the back. And if for some reason you can't get the foot all the way off, this presser bar is spring loaded, so you can lift it to get the foot off the rest of the way. Now, because I'm using this semi-thin yarn, I'm gonna go with my 1.5 millimeter couching foot. So they're in order 1, 2, and 3. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put my regular ruler foot there to keep it safe so I don't lose it. We can set that aside. And now we put our couching foot on the same way we took our ruler foot off. So we just slide it underneath, and you can lift that up. And then we'll make sure that you tighten the screw all the way down so that your foot doesn't fall off. We have our couching foot put on and screwed in nice and tight. Now we're going to go ahead and first bring up the bobbin thread. So I'm just going to use the needle up down button on the screen, and we'll pull up the bobbin thread. So there's our bobbin, and there's our top. Okay, and now we need to get our fiber through that little hole in our hopping foot. And I know that sounds kind of tricky, but there's actually a cool trick to do it. So you're going to take the end of your yarn and you're going to put it between the hopping foot and the needle, like this. Okay? And now you're going to hold your threads and make a lasso. So they're kind of like playing tug of war now. Next, you're going to pull your top thread away from the needle and do another needle up down. Now we've created a loop to pull our thread through. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull it and grab the other end. And now we are ready to do some couching. Normally when we think about quilting, we remember that there needs to be a top tension and a bottom tension. When it comes to couching, the same is true, but with your yarn, you want to make sure that there's absolutely no tension on it. So I'm just going to give myself some slack here and make a little puddle. That way, as I'm quilting, it can just pull the yarn through, and I won't really need to do anything but let it pull it through. So the idea is that as the yarn pulls through the hole, the needle is going to pierce the yarn and tack it down. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of quilting so you can see what that looks like. So you'll notice here it didn't tack down. If for some reason that doesn't happen, you can always raise your needle just back up to that point. Make sure that you have plenty of slack and keep going. Now you'll notice that I'm moving my fabric fairly slow, even though my needle is moving quite quickly. And that's good. The reason for that is the more stitching you have on your yarn, the better it's going to tack it down. And really, when you're done, you're not really going to see your top thread anyways, so it doesn't really matter if your stitches are extra tight. So this is another piece that was done with the couching feet and that metallic yarn, but in gold. And you'll see that it is actually quite a bit of fun. Not only can you fill in a larger space faster than if you were doing regular quilting, but it's almost like frosting a cake where you can make a positive and negative space and really kind of make certain elements pop and others kind of go in the background. And you'll notice that on the back, it just looks like regular quilting because really that's all we're doing is regular quilting. We're just adding a little yarn in there.